Well, here we are. I am never sure if I'm actually recording. It's great, right? I think I am. Hello. So, nice to have you here. Thanks for being here. I found the book that I lost last time. It's hard to imagine that I lost this one because it's pretty bright. I thought this was kind of funny. This Hypnotic Digest. And the question on the back, what secret power did this man possess? It's Ben Franklin, by the way. And I just thought it was funny that that was the come on line. What secret power does he possess? So I thought I might scan through some of this. I also found it very amusing. That all these books at my local bookstore were available because some hypnosis group decided that they didn't want them anymore. Or maybe somebody died and they couldn't figure out where to donate them. But it actually has, it's like you have a library card type thing in here, and it was never taken out. Not once in 54 years. So that's kind of nuts. But it opens up on a high note. It says, hypnotism and your psychic powers. So I just find that it's absolutely amusing that that is part of this. However, it starts out on a great line. It says, in my opinion, the hypnotist must firstly be a person of the highest integrity who is ever aware of his responsibilities to his clients. I mean, sexist, but honestly, 54 years ago, what wasn't? Anyway, so yes, I feel like integrity is important and everything else can flow from there. So, and what does it say in here? The content is mind over platter. I bet that's about eating. Mental power, bowl better. Practical guide to self-hypnosis, which I think we'll probably delve into deeper at another live session, because why not? A lot of people love self-hypnosis, and I think going back to it again and again with different ideas and different techniques is super powerful. How you can play better golf, sex and hypnosis, and mental telepathy explained, and then more self-hypnosis. So anyway, that's this book that I kind of wanted to get into last time, and I didn't. But next time we'll get into it even more, because now I know where it is. So I hope your weeks were really great. So I may start doing something that's kind of silly, but whatever, I like it and it's fun. There was a time when I used to regularly paint my fingernails. I like doing it. It helps them grow. Paying attention to my nails helps me take better care of them. And the issues are that at my job, I can't really, like nail polish is a tricky thing because I can't get it in stuff. I'm not in food service, but if I were in food service, it would absolutely be a no-no. But because my nails are so very thin, nail polish just doesn't stay on well. My nails break. They're not very long. Nail polish helps a little bit, but I got to be careful. So I was having a session with somebody, and I was showing my nails off because, I mean, shiny nails are just so great, right? And so I think I may start a midweek short hypnosis thing where I just go online and I take care of my nails, and I then do hypnosis at the same time. So if you like nails and you want to watch nails getting undone and repainted, with shiny things and then see the shiny nails hypnotize you even more, this would be the type of session for you. If you don't like it, totally fine. I understand that's not for everyone, and I think that that's fine. But anyway, it will be something that will happen at some point in time, maybe this week, depending on if I can get my act together or not. So there's that. It's so funny because sometimes I have a lot of shiny things around me, and I don't always have a lot of space in here, but I try to keep a couple of shiny things. But the only shiny thing that's really here right now, which I'm sure, I have shown to many of you, is this. So I might use this as a focus point today. I love it. I have a couple others. I have one that's like a triangle, which I call a murder weapon because like these are pretty heavy. I want to say this probably weighs close to a pound. And it's, you know, divine, although I'm hot and sticky, so it might get some fingerprints on it and make it less than ideally shiny, but this is pretty nice, so I might use this today. Anyway, there's a murder pyramid, which is about the same size of this, but pointy on all the sides. This is not really pointy. This could hurt you, but it's not like the others. The other seems to me to be dangerous. And then I have like a crystal ball that's just round. So cool. Anyway, so I also have this tool that I bought from a hypnotist who was no longer doing it. And it's basically, when I bought it, it was like a little motor on a mount, so it rises up, I don't know, 8 or 9 inches off the ground, and it's a box, and it took 4D batteries, I think. Don't mind that sound. It's just the, my air conditioning system half working, that's all. So it's this. It basically it came with a plastic disc about this big with a spiral. And it looked like somebody had hand painted the spiral on. So somebody may have like handmade this machine, hand painted this spiral on this rigid piece of plastic. The plastic is kind of yellowing. But anyway, you push the button and it spun around. So it's cool, right? So it's like you'd use it in your office if you were a hypnotist to have somebody focus and stare at it. So a few years ago, I have a friend who graciously turned it into a pluggable device. So now I have a device that plugs into the machine, plugs into the outlet, and it spins it. He went one better, and he made it so that it is adjustable in the speed at which it rotates. Cool, right? But I was afraid that the disc that I had, the original disc that came with it, was getting kind of old and brittle, and I didn't want to ruin it. So I've been looking for a few years locally to find somebody that would make me more. I did not find anybody locally. I tried to get quotes from at least 3 places. One of them just was like, no. They ghosted me for like a year and a half, then they were like, no, we don't do that. Okay, you could have told me that a year and a half ago. Another place locally was like trying to look up to see if they could do it. And I feel like if they had been able to do it, they would have been really expensive each. So I found a place, a sign company out in the Midwest that makes round signs custom. They put a hole in for me. It wasn't all that expensive. So I have 9 new ones. And they're metal, so they're not going to, hopefully have problems. But they're super cool. And at some point in time, I'm going to make some videos using those as a focal point. I don't know exactly how yet. There's a few things I still have to work out, but they're so cool, and I think that that'll be a lot of fun when I actually start putting them to camera. So that's upcoming as well. And today, I kind of wanted to talk about waking up. Because a lot of people, whether they know it or not, are already in a trance, right? Like, I don't know if you've ever met somebody and you just want to tell them to wake up because it feels like they are stuck in some alternate universe. They are stuck in some alternate reality. And even though we may not be at that state ourselves, because we go in and out of trance on a deliberate basis, we still might find that we are in an alternate reality that is maybe a little bit different than what's actually going on around us. Like, we've developed this construct in our head about what our life is like, and we just sort of double, triple, quadruple down on that until we are living the life that we think we are, right? That might be a little bit meta, but there's a lot of people for whom I feel like waking up would be really helpful. And some of that might be akin to mindfulness, but I feel like, the whole waking up thing sometimes involves like a slap. Sometimes I feel like it involves you, going up to somebody or yourself and being like, hey, wake up. And just feeling that shock of, oh, wait a minute, where have I been all this time? What have I been doing? What have I been aware of? Have I just been going through the motions? Or am I really into the stuff that is important to me? Have I really been doing the things in my life that I need to do in the most aware fashion so that I can take advantage of the way I really want to be? And I think that sometimes when we think about how waking up feels, or being in an altered state or a state of trance feels, we may not want to wake up, right? Because sometimes our lives are not always as good as we would like them to be. But I can tell you that the chances of you actually making a difference in your life drop if you are not fully aware of the impact that you could actually have and take advantage of that and make that happen. So let's do some trances today that involve waking ourselves up and being aware. So that's a little different, a little unusual, but don't worry. There will be plenty of opportunities for everyone to also go deeply in trance and to feel the difference and to feel what that's like. So if you're like, I'm wide awake, Lee doesn't know what she's talking about, it's totally fine. We're just going to find ourselves doing only the trancey things. That's certainly your option. No hard feelings here. But if you feel like it might be worthwhile for you to be like, maybe I am kind of asleep, maybe I'm not as aware of things as I could be, this is for you. So here we go. Would you like to take a nice deep breath in and feel what that's like? Feel what it's like as you expand your lungs. Feel the way that your body shifts and adjusts as you take that nice deep breath in. Feel the way perhaps that your body changes in the chair or the sofa or wherever you happen to be. I feel like I want to sit up a little straighter. You may or may not. You may discover that there's something inside you that likes the idea of being woken up. Maybe there's a part of you that has been dormant for a while. A part of you that is excited to have your life, that is excited to be the you that you always wanted to be, that is excited to come forth and to really make a difference and impact, whether it's in your life, in you personally, at your job, in your friends or family circle, however that happens. I'd like you to find yourself letting that part of you, if you have one, as you just take a nice deep breath in and let it out at your own speed. You don't have to do it with me. But as you find yourself doing these things, perhaps you can notice that there's a part of you that's been dormant. And as you take these nice deep breaths in, and as I talk to you, there's a part of your brain that might say, hey, you know what? Yes, I would really like to be more alert, more alive, more active, more important inside this person that I'm part of. And so we're going to wake that part up if you have any, one or more. You're just going to keep taking a nice deep breath in, letting it out when you have to, need to, want to. And feel yourself unconsciously scanning for those parts of you that might really want to partake. in waking up. Feel those parts of you beginning to like seek out, how do I come awake? How do I participate? How do I insert myself into your day-to-day in a way that feels really organic, that feels really good, that doesn't feel like I'm taking over, but it enmeshes, like that part of you can just enmesh with who you are and can gently, organically, subtly perhaps make some changes. Maybe there's some changes that you need to make that are less than subtle. Doesn't matter. However you find yourself doing it, whatever that part of you or those parts of you need, just go ahead and feel that happening a little bit. And you may not, on any sort of conscious level, even be aware that there was a part of you that was dormant or sleeping. You may not have even been aware there was a part of you that was angry at something or upset with something or just frustrated, and so it just kind of shut itself down. But the likelihood that we collectively have some parts like that amongst us is high. So what does that mean for us? Perhaps as you notice, as you breathe in and then out, as your body moves just a little bit, perhaps you notice that your skin feels a little bit more tingly. I don't know, mine kind of does. Even though it's warm in here, I kind of feel like my skin feels like, like I'm stretching the skin a little bit as I breathe in really deeply. And then it's like the nerve endings are like, I'm kind of awake. And as your nerve endings kind of wake up, if you have that experience, perhaps that's a signal to have the parts inside you that may have experienced those things I talked about, for them to feel a little tingle and to come awake too. For you to notice that it begins to feel really, really good for your unconscious mind to be part of this excitement, for your unconscious mind to notice that, we're going to look for these parts that may have been dormant. Now, right, there's always a hazard. Why are these parts dormant? Are they dormant for a good reason? Like, is there any reason specifically that they should still be asleep? But the problem with that, on a basic level, is that all of our parts are here to help us. And you might notice, like, you may not have that exact part theory in your brain, but sometimes we're like, some of me wants to do this and some of me wants to do something else. So those would be considered parts of us that have different ideas or aspects of us that want to do different things, right? And so sometimes one of them is stronger than another. Sometimes people refer to that type of thing as willpower, but I don't think it's quite that. It's just some part of us that may be asleep for whatever reason. Maybe it was a good reason, maybe it was a bad reason, but if you have a reason that part was asleep, instead of it being asleep, if it was ever problematic, we're just going to ask it instead. And I'm going to ask, but you could also ask, hey, parts, if there are any parts that are sleeping that would like to wake up and contribute positively to our life, to make us a little bit more aware of what's going on, to help us focus on what we need to do, to help us have the drive to do the things that we want to do or should do or could do. Will you, instead of whatever it was you were doing while you were asleep or before you went to sleep, could you find yourself willing and able to contribute to doing these things for us in the future? And let that part tell you yes. Let that part tell you yes by giving you some sort of physiological signal, some sort of idea motor signal. Maybe your hands curl or your finger raises. Maybe you find yourself feeling a sensation somewhere in your stomach or in your chest. Those are really common ways that we express communication to ourselves, even though we're not always consciously paying attention to those things. So as you find those parts of you saying yes, and you think about the ways in which they might help be guided, they might direct you to all being a little bit more awake and aware, a little bit more interested in and driving toward your own goals and your own powerful needs that you have, that you want to have fulfilled. Think about things on a conscious level that you might possibly want your brain to work on. Doesn't matter what it is. Maybe you're like, I want to eat more healthfully. I want to start getting more exercise. I want to work on this project that I've had in the back of my head for a long time. I want to learn Python. I want to learn to speak Spanish. Whatever it happens to be, allow your unconscious mind to think about how good it feels when you start a new project, right? When you start a new project, it's usually either super exciting or sometimes daunting or some combination of the two. And you need to be able to like find all the details wrapped up in those things so you can just keep going forward. You can just keep going forward and learn what you need to learn and do your very best at that early stage to learn the basics of it so that you can then work on intermediary stuff and discover how fun and frustrating that is. And then at some point in time, you're like, oh, I've been doing this long enough. I get it. It's easier. I'm going to butcher this, but se habla español. My Spanish is really, really quite terrible, but I did actually take a class in it earlier in the pandemic, and surprisingly, my brain has remembered some of it, which has been a little helpful in a couple of occasions, which is better than having none, for example. So let your unconscious mind think about what it would like to do. And as you find yourself thinking about what you would like to do, let those parts, this is the hypnotic part, right? Let those parts of you notice that you can find yourself focused on the shiny, the blue, the white, the color of my hand, any type of interesting responses from the light shine that you might see. I guess they're over here. And let your unconscious mind drop deeply into trance while you let those parts think about how they can be most useful. Let other parts chime into them. You can be most useful by joining us here or there. And let that part make a decision, make a choice, waking up those parts, their own interests, so that your interests can be met and served by them. So that the parts inside you can commingle, can work together, can be alert and alive. And you can find that as you breathe in deeply, allowing your body to move when you do that, and then breathe out, feeling that movement again, that your unconscious mind can just be in this place of, oh, I feel like something new is happening. I feel like something new is going on. I feel like that whole wake up begins to be super powerful. Even while you're deeply in trance, your unconscious mind can just feel that there are parts of you waking up. There are interesting things inside you waking up and making changes for your behalf, on your behalf, for whatever it is that you find yourself wanting to do. And you can drop and sink down deeply into trance. Whether your eyes are open or closed, your unconscious mind can know that it just feels so very good to let your unconscious mind realize that parts of it have been asleep, and that's totally fine. You needed or wanted to make that happen, and now you want to find that you're waking some parts up so that they can participate in allowing your world to be even better, even more amazing. And as you find yourself letting in a little bit more oxygen than normal, as you feel your body physically moving with the breath in and out, as perhaps you notice that your skin, the nerves on your skin, feel a little bit more tingly, feel a little bit more amazing, notice that waking up while you're deeply in trance begins to feel absolutely fascinating. That your unconscious mind can feel how clear things become. How your drives and your desires begin to coalesce onto one or two different points, the things that you would like to find yourself doing. And maybe you can form a little hierarchy. What's most important right now? How do I make that thing happen? All the parts can agree that we're going to do one thing first and then we're going to go on to the next. But these are things that are important to you. These are things that are important for you to get done, to start, to involve yourself in. Things that feel really, really good for you to recognize that you're aware of. And maybe you find yourself being a little bit more mindful in general. Like, I'm aware of my feet on the floor. I'm aware of the way the clothes feel, but it's comfortable. It's not bothersome. It's just fine. Or maybe you're more aware of your body in space, where you happen to be and how things are going. But whatever works for you, let your unconscious mind know that those dormant parts are waking up. They're getting excited about working with and participating in projects with the rest of you. And they are going to have an impact and a change for you, and let it be a positive one. Let it be something that you found yourself really thrilled and excited by at one point in time, and maybe you lost that interest. Maybe that part of you just went dormant for whatever reason. But now, all your parts can decide that they're going to work together on your top project. right? And then they're going to work together on your second project. And then they're going to work together on whatever's next. But let your brain hold on to how good that can feel. Let your body physically feel how much better it feels to accept and acknowledge and allow that parts of you have been asleep. And now you're going to find yourself wide awake. And as you find yourself wide awake, those parts simply agree to work together. And as those parts agree to work together, you can find yourself knowing that there's something so powerful about you, right? It's not my words, it's you. There's something powerful about you, and your unconscious mind can decide that you're going to take advantage of that power, of those parts working together, of those ideas that you have that you'd really, really like to capture. Feel how good that is. Feel the way that your body might tingle at these thoughts, as these ideas. Maybe you notice that in some parts of you, there's this absolute calm. Like maybe some part of you felt a little bit uneasy earlier. Like maybe there was a prickle at the back of your neck, or your chest felt tight, or your stomach was roiling a little bit, or you had a strange itch somewhere else. Don't worry about the itch, that's fine. But let your unconscious mind notice that all those other things can have calmed down in a way that allows you to focus all your attention and interest and excitement on the thing that you want to do. It's like all the facets, right? If the light was shining through here, into one pure beam of what you want to do and how you want to do it and the ways that you can make these things happen until everything comes together and you have this incredible output. Until you have this incredible output of exactly how you're going to do it. And don't worry, if that doesn't work out, there's always adjustments that can be made. It's not a big deal. The important thing is that you find yourself awake. The important thing is that you find yourself working together. The important thing is that you allow yourself to learn more about what it is that you're truly interested in and what your capabilities are. So allow your unconscious mind to focus on that, to pay attention to that, and to just let yourself give in more and more easily and effortlessly to that state of you that is driven, that is successful in what you want to make happen, so that all parts of you can discover that they are really, really excited and happy to make you alert, aware, giving in to the things that are important to you, and just making those things happen. So hold on to those thoughts. On the count of 10, find yourself dropping down even deeper into trance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Deeper and deeper. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Down deeper into trance. Let your unconscious mind find a way to tell you. Let your unconscious mind find a way to tell you that it is in fact on board. That it does want to do these things with you. That it likes making those things happen with you. And that when you make those changes, that everything begins to feel a little bit more like clockwork. Maybe like that flow state. That your brain just can automatically feel what that's like. So that when you have days ahead of us, right? You're going to have days ahead of us. You're going to wake up in the mornings, and then there's going to be a part of your brain that is excited to do the things that you want to do. You're still going to do all the other things you have to do. But your brain is going to perhaps take tomorrow, if you have that off, or the next time that you have that's yours, even if it's only like 15 or 20 minutes, to make something happen for you that is so powerful and so positive that your brain is like, oh, I feel like we're on fire, metaphorically, of course, in the best possible ways, so that you feel how good it is to get stuff done. So let your unconscious mind hold on to that. And then let's drop down deeper. Let's go from that 10, but still deeply in trance, to that 0, and then -5. Can you do that? -4, -3, -2, -1, -10. Right back down. You know what that's like? To just feel that plunge right back down, to just feel that drop again and again and again. To feel your unconscious mind go, oh, I was up, I was down, now I'm down again. This is a very firm thing, right? When it hits my hand, it's very deliberate. Can you feel like a drop that's very deliberate, so that your brain is aware that you are going deeper into trance, that you are going into those negative numbers, -10, feeling how interesting it is to be there. Let those states of trance, when I talk about the negative numbers and I bring them out, let those feel different for you so that you find yourself getting something exciting and useful out of it. Feel what that's like for your brain to just know that you are in that place where these things automatically happen. It feels so good for your brain to just let these things automatically happen, for something new and useful and resourceful to be there for you in those negative numbers. In that space, those spaces, wherever that happens to be for you, hold on to how good that becomes. And then, on the count of 10, find yourself wide awake. We have a ways to go, so hold on. Let your brain tell you, in whichever way it can tell you best, that it's on board, that it has made changes, that you have new parts that are wide awake, that are adjusting themselves to be with you, to be with all of you in your endeavors, in your dreams, in your desires, in your plans, in your actions. -9, -8, -7, -6, -5, -4, -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Take another nice deep breath in. Let it out. 8, move your body around. Feel those tingles if you have them. 9, open up your eyes, roll your shoulders. And 10, wake up. Let me know that you're here by saying hello or hi, or my parts are now wide awake, whatever it is that makes the most sense to you. You'll notice that this has almost nothing to do with caffeine. This wake up has almost nothing to do with caffeine. It's purely internally driven. You waking up as and how and when you need to. And let your brain feel what that's like, to notice that parts of you are just wide awake, feeling really good. Let your brain feel the effects of all of this. Oh, hello. I am so delighted, excuse me. You can determine if I'm delightful or not, but I am so delighted at the people that are in here. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate that. I'm thrilled and excited by that. And yeah, deep but more awake. And walking around with a flashlight trying to find the sleeping parts. That's kind of neat. I love the responses. So I love my dreams, right? I love the dreams I have. I wish I could explore and experience them longer in a state where I am like half awake and aware of what's going on, as opposed to just asleep and not really aware. And sometimes when you guys talk about what you experience in trance, they feel like my dreams. They're not quite the same, obviously, but sometimes they feel like those are my dreams, and I'm just hearing about them from a third party. It's not completely like that, but kind of, sort of, yeah. So this is a little shorter than normal. Next week, I'm definitely going to talk about some of the self-hypnosis things in this book next week. And sometime this week, I don't know when yet, I'm definitely going to do a nail polish painting trance session if you're interested in that. If you would like to support me, feel free to subscribe to me here. I just passed 3,000 subscribers on YouTube, and that's very exciting. You're also welcome to join Patreon. There's no force for any of that. It's just simply helps me, earn a living doing hypnosis. So thank you all for being here. Thanks for everybody who is not from the US, because it's a totally different time zone and you may have been getting ready to do other stuff. I don't know. But thank you all for being here. I will be back next Sunday. And if you ever would like to talk about or have me talk about anything in particular, you can drop me an email, leelure@gmail.com, or you can let me know through Discord or YouTube. You can just drop a line and let me know. So thanks for being here, folks, and have a wonderful rest of your weekend. So thank you very much.